Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Aaron Herman. So you're in bed and you want to binge, and there are a lot of different options for apps and content for really any type of your interest. There's one problem: there hasn't been a streaming service for Israeli content, and especially during this time where you can't visit Israel, you want to connect. Well, enter Izzy. Izzy is a really dynamic streaming service which has original programming, feature films, which connects you to Israel in a unique way. Let's take a closer look.
Whenever you think of content development, one of the things that is happening in this new world is people are interested in different types of shows, but there's also that meaningful engagement. And your platform is really interesting when it comes to developing something that is dynamic and different. And so, talk a little bit about this new platform and how it came to be.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me. I think in a world where there seems to be a lot of victimization and degradation of, whether it's news or whether it's documentaries that show things that are not so pleasant to see, or even movies, um, I'm of the mindset that we need to do more celebration. And specifically for Izzy being the premier streaming platform for all things Israel. We really want to celebrate Israeli culture, Israeli lifestyle, Israeli society, Israeli people, Israeli characters and plots that may or may not be based on real life, and then deliver that media product in a very interesting way: movies, TV shows, documentaries, and so forth.
One of the things that I think is something that is missing, and I think you hit it really right on the nail, is that um, Israeli culture, technology, arts. We're now seeing this whole new universe of interest, right? I think with Fauda, people started realizing that there's a lot of potential with creative shows. You have a lot of culinary, especially in the COVID era, people doing their own vlogs and showing Israel. The fact that people can't visit Israel right now, that is, Taglit Birthright Israel can't go. There's different universities that kids that would typically go to yeshivas, or they can't experience that now. So how do you bring Israel, to people that crave this interaction and interest? And what was a moment for you that you knew this can work?
I got an email from somebody, I think they were in Canada. It was right when we launched. We launched on May 21st, and got an email, I think that week, saying I downgraded my Netflix account to the cheaper version so I could make room in my budget for Izzy. And I think that was like, all right, that's cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the shows. Like, how are you? Are you developing them, or like what's the process
Yeah.
to bring it to your platform?
Yeah, I mean, we're really following the Netflix blueprint, which is really focusing first and foremost on licensed content, movies, TV shows, documentaries, going out and getting all the greatest content that's already been made, putting it on the platform. Some of that content is available in other places, whether it be through festivals or different, Vimeo or things of that nature, although not on a subscription base, more on a pay-per-view. And then a lot of it also is taking Israeli content that was made for the local audience, but still has a lot of international appeal, and subtitling it first in English, but also looking at other languages like Spanish and French. And then after that, once we, I think, have really conquered what we'll just call the licensed content world, then we are very much keen on entering original content, new content that we commission, that we work with a variety of different partners that we're developing. There's 6 different film funds in Israel, for example, and there's the local distribution companies. So we definitely want to look at co-productions with them. And there's just a variety of different ways to bring amazing content from Israel and about Israel to the world. And we're really excited about that.
So one of the things that I've seen over the years is, it's really an emergence of technology and then the creative process, and you're really merging both.
Right.
One of the things that I'm interested in is how do you pick the right technology sort of to bring it to the masses? Like there's so many different platforms, there's different ways to sort of bring a concept to the forefront. What type of process technology wise are you sort of using so that you can, you know, when you launch relatively in the last couple months, so how are you going to scale, and what's that process?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, listen, there's a lot of ways to put content on the internet today, video content especially. The main one, the obvious one, is social media, whether that's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And we looked at that and we said, okay, what's the usage opportunities from the consumer standpoint? You know, how are people using these platforms, and specifically video content on these platforms? And then how can you monetize that in a way that makes sense for everyone, makes sense for the viewer, makes sense for us as a company, and makes sense also for the filmmakers creating the content. And then we also looked at the opportunity to build our own platform. So not to build a channel on YouTube or a channel on Facebook, to actually build a platform next to YouTube, next to Facebook. And that became a lot more interesting because that puts you in a different space. It makes your product premium. In social media, it's became a world of commoditized content, I call it. Not that it's bad content, it's just commoditized. And so understanding that, okay, if we build our own platform, we can control the platform, and then we can control how, you know, our customers and people that want to engage with Israel sort of from their living room around the world, how they can consume content on this sort of platform. And then at that point, it became about, okay, how are people going to consume this? And we know today, if you're buying a new TV, you're buying a smart TV if you don't already have one. And obviously you have the computer and tablets and smartphones. So smart devices across the board are very prevalent and will continue to become more prevalent. And so then developing apps, you know, we'll have 6 different apps coming up here in just a few weeks on all the different platforms. So you can seamlessly watch Izzy on your smart TV, on your smartphone, on your tablet, on your computer, and really just pick up where you left off from one device to the next.
So one of my biggest questions, how did you pick Izzy? Like, it's a great name, and I think it's brilliant. But how did you come up with Izzy?
I have to give credit where credit is due. One of our advisors, a brilliant guy named Ari Yablak, his day job is in the branding space, specifically in startups, also American, but now lives in Israel. And I remember, so that I came up with the first name, which never became public necessarily. It was Hello Israel. Just, I don't know, I came up with it, and I just started working on the business plan and our brand strategy. And then he came on as an advisor. I've known Ari for several years now. And he told me, yeah, I don't love Hello Israel. And I said, all right, let's think. And I was on a train. I'll never forget. I was on a train from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem to go to a concert. And I get a text from Ari, and he goes, Izzy. And I looked at the text, and the rest is history. I mean, it was love at first sight. We love the name just as much as everyone else does. And I think it's very fitting for our platform.
And it has such great brand potential. I mean, I just think, like, when I started Izzy, that was one thing that I actually said I wanted to interview you, because I thought I love. So I'm the guy that wears a T-shirt, you know, that of a brand. Like, I would wear an Izzy. That's just smart, you know, like, it's simple.
You'll be the first one to get the T-shirt when they're ready.
But it's so smart. It's like, you keep it simple. You know, what are you watching? I'm watching Izzy. You know, and it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, and that was Ari's thought process, you know, as he was putting on his branding hat. You know, that's what he wanted. He wanted something short, sweet, to the point, sort of self-describing, and we landed on it, you know. So we have to give credit to him, and we love it as well, yeah.
How does it work now with, like, you know, original content? You said you're going to be, like, working with already sort of things that are out there. Are you going to be developing your own original content? And, like, what's the process?
Yeah, I mean, that's really where we want to be going. For 2 reasons. One, because on a business level, you want to become the destination for certain content, meaning you can only watch it on, you know, in our case, Izzy. Netflix obviously does that very well. Disney Plus is doing that quite well. And then on the sort of product level of bringing the best media product to the customer, there's so many stories that have not been told that are very interesting to international audiences outside of Israel. True stories, fiction, scripted, non-scripted. And the reason they haven't been told is because by and large, the content that you see coming out of Israel today, movies, TV shows, and documentaries, were created for the local audience, just like Fauda, and a lot of other movies, TV shows, and documentaries. And then they had international appeal, so they sold it abroad. But what happens when you specifically write to the local audience, there's a lot of things that are not interesting to the local audience that are very interesting for international audiences around the world. And so we really want to take advantage of those topics and subjects and people and places in a very entertaining and interesting way.
How do you see yourself like partnering with even organization? We talked about, people can't go to Israel now.
Right.
How do you see like Izzy working with the larger establishment of North American organizations?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, we're already starting to work with a variety of different organizations in the Jewish and Israeli worlds, also in the Christian worlds, because they have a big affinity for Israel. There's a variety of ways. I mean, we look at creating content, co-producing content with some of these organizations that either have boots on the ground in Israel or have some connection here, or certain stories that they want to tell, bring to life through entertainment. That's one way. Another way is, we do fundraising where we can basically help some of these nonprofits raise additional funds from their donor base, from our audience, and really, I think today we're new, so we're always looking at new opportunities for how can we not just work in the obvious ways with different organizations, but really invent new ways of working, because we're doing something that's so new. And so our whole thing is, let's continue to bring new to everyone, new to the customer, new to our inner organizations and influencers and, the different stakeholders in Izzy. And we're really excited about that.
No, it's an amazing project. I think it has a tremendous amount of potential. Where do you see Izzy going in the next year?
Yeah, I mean, really moving as quickly as possible into original content. We've actually already developed over 100 concepts across movies, TV shows, and documentaries. So at that point, it's just about driving subscribers and taking the vast majority of those revenues, reinvesting it back into original content. That will bring more subscribers, more money for original content, and it becomes a nice virtuous cycle. And that's really what we'll be focusing on in the next year or so.
So is it going to be a freemium and then a premium? Like what's the process?
Yeah, for now we're going to keep it premium, but at the same time, I think the product that we're bringing to the market today and the product that will continue to improve is very much worth the cost of entry, so to speak. So I'm not too worried about that. I can also say that on our Facebook page, for example, we do a lot of great social media content that you could say that's our free content. And it's a lot of micro storytelling and sort of giving people, you and I, before you hit record, we were talking about how sometimes you go on certain websites, news websites, and if they're in Israel, so you think Israel's burning to the ground. And I can tell you right now, the sun's out, it's a beautiful summer day, a little hot, but it's all right. And, and life happens here, and great life happens here. One of the things that when I first moved to Israel in 2013, it was the first time I actually felt alive. And I still feel that feeling 7 years later. And that feeling is what propelled me to come up with and then build Izzy. And so, we really want to continue to bring not just the positivity, but the entertainment and the inspiration and different things that you're not going to see when you open up certain news websites from Israel. And that's, to me, I take that responsibility very seriously, because in a world where sometimes all you think is it's coming to an end, there's a lot of bright spots, and there's a lot of bright spots in Israel that we're super excited to show to the world.
So what's the cost, to join Izzy?
Yeah, right now $4.99 a month US dollars. You can also save on 2 months and sign up for the yearly package at $49.99 a month, or a year rather. And yeah, we might play with that a little bit, but by and large, I mean, I think that's a very fair price. The product will continue to get better. And we really are looking for what we call a triple win situation: a win for the customer and getting the value for a great entertainment product, a win for the filmmakers that are making this content or have already made it and are licensing it to us, and then a win for us in being able to manage the technology and the marketing and the business so that we can continue to bring Israel to people's living rooms around the world.
And it's smart. I mean, I love the fact that you understand that, when the price associated with a brand, there's value. A lot of times when there's a freemium, people just go and like, it is what it is, but when you actually put a price on that, the psychology behind that is this is worth something, right? It's not
Correct.
just, something I can click on. It's actually, you get into the net, like you said, the Netflix model, like you understand like Disney Plus, all these, HBO Max, all these things that are happening now, you're part of that ecosystem. And
Exactly.
that's it's a very smart way to sort of position yourself.
Absolutely.
Where can people learn more about Izzy?
So ironically, we kept the URL, helloisrael.tv, www.helloisrael.tv. Put in your email. We'll send you how to actually sign up for the service. And yeah, we're always looking for feedback as well. So we're never shy to hear how, people think we can improve the service or certain programs that they want to see that we don't currently have. So by all means, we have an open door policy, and we're excited to hear from people what they want to say and what they want to see on Izzy.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing the future of Izzy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
As you can see, Izzy is a really interesting model and product that connects you to Israel through dynamic programming. This is Aaron Herman, and thank you for watching.